Almost exactly 1 year ago, 51 weeks ago to be exact, I was standing on this stage talking to many of you in the room at a civic camp gathering. And you may recall that at that time I said that there were a number of things that were keeping me up at night. But what was really keeping me up at night was not getting the airport tunnel done, we did that, or getting secondary suites legalized, working on that. But what was really keeping me up at night was the fact that the energy and the buzz in the air that was happening a year ago around this city, where people were talking to strangers and friends and everyone else in public spaces and in private ones, not just about who do you like for mayor, but a broader discussion about what can we be as a community, who are we as a community, was really happening. So you may recall, those of you who are in the room, that 51 weeks ago, I gave the group a challenge. You heard about it earlier. Get more people involved in Calgary, help me figure out how to do that. And I gave them a very short deadline. We won't talk about the deadline, but 6 weeks turned out to be not quite long enough. However, what has been really exciting for me in my first year in office has really been the fact that that energy, that buzz, that excitement is still there. I know you all feel it. And I think citizens in Calgary still feel it. Still feel that there is, in fact, a relationship between their own hopes and dreams and fears and challenges for the future and those institutions, including but not limited to municipal government, that exist to make that world better. And so I'm really excited about that, but I want to make sure that we continue to capture that buzz, that these people, Occupy Calgary folks aside, still feel like their own community is a place where they can make change. So I know all of you in the room. I'll believe this already. I'm looking around the room and I know most of you, which is a great blessing because it means we've got a room full of 300 people today who already are doing this, who are already leaders in the community, who are already busy making change in the community in their own ways. So first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for doing it. Thank you for caring enough to show up. Thank you for caring enough to show up today, but thank you for caring to show up enough every day in your community, trying to make things better for your fellow citizens and your neighbors. Now, I think I see Mark in the audience. I know he was coming in. So I want to tell you about Mark. I met Mark during the campaign, and you've heard me talk about Mark a lot before. And he showed up one day having thought a lot about the election campaign and about politics, and he just showed up at the office one day and said, "I've made my decision." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "I'm going to support you." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "So, I'm at your disposal. What do you want me to do?" And then figuring out what to let Mark do became an issue for the campaign. But I remember running into Mark a year ago at this event. And you remember what I said, Mark?
Something about ruining my life.
I said, "Thanks for coming here. Have I truly ruined your life?" And you said yes. And I said, "Great, go ruin someone else's." So I'm thrilled to see you're still ruining your life, Mark, and that you're busy ruining other people's lives as well. And that's really what we want to talk about today. So today I want to, ruining people's lives. Darcy, is that exactly the line I was supposed to use? See, normally I speak entirely without notes, but lately Darcy's been handing me pieces of paper as I go up on stage, and I think it's because, I like to think it's because he thinks he's making my life easier. I suspect it's so that I don't say things like that. I was on this stage about a week ago, and Darcy had handed me a slip of paper. It was at the, no, it was not a week ago, it was like 3 weeks ago now. It was at the premiere of the documentary at Nenshi for Mayor that we premiered at the Calgary Film Festival, and I took Darcy's notes up to the stage, and in big, big fonts right at the top it said, "Be humble." So I came up on the stage and said, "This is a premiere of a movie about me." And it says, "Be humble," so I crumpled it up and threw it over my shoulder in front of everyone, and I think Darcy cried. I haven't made you cry yet today, have I? Yes, you're welcome. So what I really want to do is tell you about this wonderful project that the Mayor's Committee on Civic Engagement has come up with. And that project is 3 Things for Calgary. And you heard a little bit about 3 Things for Calgary in the wonderful video. Thanks to Juice Creative and Rick and John Thomas for doing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I want to make that real for you. For a year now, I've been giving people homework when I speak to public groups. And now the homework is a little more specific. And it has a deadline. So, you ready? 3 things for Calgary. Over the course of this winter, by the time the tulips come up, forget that you're in Calgary and that could be August. By the time the tulips come up in normal places, I want you to have done 3 things. 3 things for your community. And as you saw in the video, it starts by asking some questions. What am I good at? What do I care about? What am I going to do about it? And find 3 things that you can do to make your community better. These could be big things. It could mean taking on a new volunteer role. It could mean joining your local community association. It could mean getting excited about a thing that you're passionate about, whether it's kids who are ill or building community gardens. The only criterion is it has to improve the life of someone outside of your own family. They could be small things. My absolute favorite example I've heard of 3 things so far is the fellow who said, I'm going to open a bottle of wine on my front porch and invite the neighbors over. You see, the point is it was on his front porch. His front porch. Not in his fenced backyard. Right? It could be as simple as that. So here's the thing. From now until the snow falls, think about what your 3 things are. During the course of the winter, do them. Get out and make them happen. And then, I know that all of you, by the way, I should back up, and I should say that I know that all of you already do all this, and all of you already spend countless hours on making the community better, so I'm just asking you to do a little more, just a little more. But the most important part of this, especially for all of you, is that you must be the evangelists for this movement. That's the most important job for you. So not only do you need to do 3 things, but you need to tell 3 people. You need to mentor 3 people. See, if you had come to my speech before today, the homework was only 1 person. We've decided to raise the bar. Because all of you know people in your communities, in your workplaces, even in your families, who are not perhaps contributing to the level they should that their skills and abilities will allow them to contribute. So your job as the 3 things evangelist, your mission, should you agree to accept it, and you've all agreed already by being here, sorry. You know that sign-up sheet you signed in at the front? You should have read it. So now that you've all agreed to be evangelists for this, your job is to find 3 people and be their mentor. Help each of those 3 people find an appropriate thing 3 appropriate things that they can do in the community that make use of their own skills. That's how this is going to go viral. That's how this is going to become a wonderful disease that will infect all of us in the city of Calgary. And of course, because this involves me, there's some technology here as well. Go to the Facebook group or the website, 3 Things for Calgary. The website will be up soon, 3thingsforcalgaryca.ca, and talk about what you did. Get ideas for other stuff to do. Get ideas on how to have conversations with other people about how to do this. Every step is incredibly important. And you know, I love that Dave is here because now we can brag about some of the stuff that actually works well in Calgary. Many of your fellow citizens have done this, have started doing this. 20,000 of your fellow citizens, for example, contributed to our process to create the budget. You know, we're still going to have a public hearing at the end of November, and we're still trying to figure out ways that people don't come in and sign up at 9 o'clock and sit there all day. We do take breaks, unlike in Toronto, during them, and we stop in the evenings at some point. But people are going to come to that, but it's going to be the end of a process. Instead of being the only way for the public to engage, people have had opportunities since January to be part of that conversation, and I think that's pretty exciting. Though I do encourage all of you to come to those hearings as well. So there's my challenge. What are the 3 things you're going to do for Calgary? When are you going to do them? Who are the 3 people that you're going to engage in doing that? So, this is the beginning of something very exciting. You are indeed present at the creation of something that is going to change Calgary forever. And I think that that is the most exciting part of what we are doing here. So, let me do a couple of things. I want to thank all of the members of the Mayor's Civic Engagement Committee, as well as we've already thanked Rick Thomas from Juice Creative and his son John, who did that wonderful, wonderful video. The work you've done over the past year, 6 weeks, has been incredible. Amazing, tremendous. You've started an unbelievable movement. So why don't we have all the members of the Civic Engagement Committee stand and be recognized. Stay standing, stay standing, stay standing. The reason I've asked them all to stay standing is because I want you to memorize their faces. Because they will be around to answer questions and have further discussions with you as we move forward. If you have further questions, these are the folks to ask. So thank you. I also want to thank two people in particular who've helped us think, who've opened our minds and opened our eyes to what is possible. So first of all, I want to thank Dave Meslin for coming from Toronto and being here with us today. And I want to thank Jamie Neeson. And before I give this to Jamie, I want to just say a word here about Jamie. I'm just going to embarrass him a little bit because I haven't had the chance to do this in a while. So I'm not just thanking him for being the MC tonight. I love to honor real community heroes. And Jamie has been a hero of this community for so very long. Through all his private sector roles, through his own volunteer work, through taking on the chair of the Calgary Public Library Board, doing an absolutely pivotal time, the greatest expansion the library is ever going to see, and the centennial of the Calgary Public Library. And let me tell you that as someone who has worked in the nonprofit sector for so long and who has taught nonprofit management, who understands the sector so well, I was so thrilled when Jamie said, I'm actually going to take my professional career and move it into the nonprofit sector and go to work every day to make life better for Calgarians. And I'm just so thrilled that you're in this new role, and keep up the amazing work. So you remember your 3 challenges this winter. Think about the 3 things you want to do. Do them. Get 3 other people to do the same. Thank you all so much for being here.